Good morning. So it is Wednesday, April 8th, and here is your science video for today. Yesterday, I asked you a question about worms, and we were talking about or wondering about why we were seeing so many worms on the pavement after it rains. So we're going to talk a little bit more about worms and why there's so many of them. Yes, we want to know about why they came out of the ground when it rained, but I think it makes me think about them and being in the ground and realizing that I don't really think about them until I see them after it rains. So clearly they're there in the ground, and it's making me think, why are they there? Why do I not just see them after the rain, but why are they in the ground? What are they doing in the ground? How do they live? I mean, I picked them up and they're wiggly and squiggly, and they're kind of a little slimy, but they don't hurt me. They're not toxic. There's nothing damaging or anything about it. So I just wanted to ask you a couple questions today about the worms as we start to look at it. Now remember, we are looking at the idea of what creates an ecosystem. Our essential question that we're talking about is, how do you create an ecosystem? And we've started to look at plants. What do plants need to survive? We looked at what do animals need, and how do animals find places to live? Remember the hawk in the city? But so now we're looking at, we looked at some leaves and how they, where they go and how they decompose in the ground. And now we're looking at worms. So I have a couple of things for you to just sort of consider for today. So let me play you a little video here of these fabulous worms. You can see there's several of them. They're moving around. They're kind of squiggly. They seem to be moving. I can see one sort of feeling around in there. Here's a very good visual of the worm. I guess I'm kind of wondering which one's the head and which one's the end. It's kind of interesting. I'm kind of wondering, oh, look at the way the colors are. I see it's kind of brown and pinkish when I'm looking at it. And I can see, oh, it's kind of moving. It kind of reminds me of a snake. It's interesting. These lines here, I wonder why they have those. I think they're called segments. Well, I know what they're called, but I'm just kind of going through my thinking here. It looks like it's looking for something. What is it looking for? I wonder why it is going down into the ground. All right, so there's a video here that we're not going to, this is part of the activity from Mystery Science, so we're not going to participate in that right now. So I want to just basically go back and look at your assignment. We know that things like leaves and we know that fruits decompose, and we know that there are worms in the ground. So let's take a look at the worms for a minute. Today I have you doing a See, Think, Wonder chart. Now this chart is not new. You've been doing this through Mystery Science all along. I basically created my own chart of this for you, and I have two pictures on this chart. One is a picture of a worm, and the other part is called worm casting. So basically worm castings are like worm poop. It's the part that they leave after they consume and their food, and they poop it out. So we've all read the book, Everybody Poops. So looking at the chart, I'm asking you to look at, what do you see? I'm asking you to make 4 or 5 observations from the video that we watched here, as well as the 2 pictures here on this chart. So 4 to 5 observations. You're going to click right on it. You can go up here to bullets, and you can make some observations and type right into it. Think. What do you think you know? What do you think you know? What are you thinking about? I try to model a little bit for you about what I was thinking when I'm seeing these worms. And then, of course, thinking is kind of acknowledging some information. It's not the same as wondering. Thinking is, I really see that there's this little bulge here. What do I think that's there for? So thinking is kind of putting some information together and trying to make some assumptions. What do you know? And then wondering. Wondering is really like, what are those questions that are still out there? Like, why are they pooping? Well, we kind of know the answer to that, but there's a lot more questions about that. So I want you to list 2 to 3 questions that you have about that. So please make note of these. They are 4 to 5 things about what you see. There are 2 to 3 ideas that you are thinking, and 2 to 3 ideas that you are wondering. In addition to that, make sure that you're being detailed. Please don't tell me that it's long. That doesn't really help me. Be specific in what you're talking about. We've been practicing all year long about color, texture, being specific about length. Obviously, you can't measure this, but you can take a look at what you see in the video. But be specific in your observations, right? I should be able to think about what I'm drawing or what you're describing to me and have a really good picture in my head. If you don't tell me the color, I might think it's a yellow. You have to be specific. So again, thinking through, making full sentences, making sure that you're paying attention to your capitals and you're spelling the words correctly. Remember, if there's a red squiggly underneath your word, it's not spelled correctly. This is due today. You will see that the time on here says noontime. That is because that's what time I stopped working. Obviously, if you need more time, take that time. Make sure that you are putting your best effort into it. And I have one final question for you. And I'm going to make a secret little trick for those of you who actually watch the rest of the video. So if you scroll all the way down, watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to put a question all the way at the very, very bottom as a little secret. Would you pick up a worm and hold it in your hand? Now, not a very difficult question. But the problem is, a lot of you aren't watching my video, and I want to know who really is. So answer my question right down here. Write the word yes or no. There's not much there. You got to remember, you're going to have to scroll all the way down to even see it. I've got it hidden kind of at the bottom. So it's kind of a trick. Take a look at it. Make sure you answer that question before you go. Don't tell anybody. It's our secret unless they watch the video. All right, guys. After taking a look at this, we're going to look at our wonderings of this worm. We're going to see how it's connected to our unit around creating an ecosystem and see what kinds of things are. Do you think these worms are pests or do you think they're helpers? I don't know. All right, guys, we'll talk to you in another video. Talk to you soon. Bye.